Hi, everybody. Welcome to Infinite Horizon. We are back. So first of all, we are still unfortunately out a Henry, but we have picked up one Drac. Hello, Drac. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
I am also very excited. so, uh, oh gosh, what has
Ooh.
happened? Hail of a Wolf has subscribed for 3 months. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much. Um, so sorry about being a little bit late. Um,
I didn't
we,
realize what time it was when I was trying to correct tech things. My bad.
so yeah, we had a little bit of a slight audio issue, but it is fixed now. I say, staring because it is fixed. It is. I swear. Um, Although Caitlin will probably text me at some point within the next week to tell me that like it's still doing the thing. So, you know, expect that to happen. All right. Well, I think before we make this go any longer, starting delay any longer, I think we should just do it. How's that? How's everybody good with that? Anybody have
Let's do
anything?
it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah,
Do
okay.
we want Drac to introduce, say, like where we can find him and stuff?
Oh,
Like,
can we do that
yes,
Yeah,
that's a
now?
great
sure.
idea.
I'm
Yeah,
fine with
Just
that.
sure.
like
Okay.
tell us about you real quick. Announcements. Yeah,
Okay.
announcements.
Hi, I'm Jack, called Draconics. On Twitter, Twitch. I don't really stream on my personal Twitch much, so don't bother following that. But follow me on Twitter, because I'm up to a decent amount of stuff now. You can find me on Friends Who Roll Dice, which is a TTRPG channel that we created a few months ago. Um, I'm also in a actual play podcast called Super Idols RPG, where I play a magical idol boy, which is a lot of fun. Uh, uh, there's so many other stuff, but I can't announce yet. So just follow me on Twitter on Draconics, and you'll see updates. That's DRAK. Oh, down here actually. Sorry, I
Yeah,
missed it up here.
it's right there.
Down here. DRAKONIQUES. Sorry about the weird spelling. The normal spelling of Draconics was taken, so I had to make something weird.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well,
Let's make something else weird.
let's
Let's do it.
let's
Yeah.
make more weird stuff. All right. Then without any further ado, we will jump into our intro.
Some will say this is the end. We're surrounded, but we won't give in. No. Who will save us? Who will save us? Sometimes you gotta let it go. Leave it up to the hero. Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows, all hail to the heroes. They're gonna save us. Yeah, save us. Yeah, save us today.
And we're back. Okay. So, last time on Infinite Horizon. Oh my gosh.
That.
Lily has subscribed for two
Yay!
months. And a message from Lily to Drac. Guest type. You're going to have a blast. Wishing you many 20s in your future. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, I can tell I'm gonna have fun. Yeah.
All right. So previously on Infinite Horizon, um, this is the part where we see how good my recall is after a couple of weeks. So last time, the crew of Awakener took about a month of downtime on the asteroid city of Sulon, where they basically were going to take some time to prepare, to rest, to do some recon for their upcoming mission to rescue not only their fellow crew member Abriel's sister from corporate uh, political imprisonment, but also, uh, as Wire informed them, um, to rescue a bunch of supers on their way to being conditioned. Oh my god. Heart of Handprints gifted 5 subs. Okay. Starting it off like, oh my gosh, we have a hype train going, everybody. A level 3
Oh
hype
my
train
God.
happening. This is
Maybe we should go off the air more often.
maybe we should. Maybe we should. Infinite Horizon is every 2 weeks now. All right, bye.
I think this means
Boo.
we need to have Drac on all the time.
There we go. That's
I,
it.
I guess I'll take that. Okay, I'll take that. I'm up for that.
All right.
We haven't played yet.
All right. So during that month period, there was a lot of business that got taken care of, mostly in terms of ship maintenance and ship upgrades. But there were a bunch of smaller character moments, but some of the more particularly significant moments were the ones where, oh no, what happened now? I heard the alert and oh my god, Thantos and John have each gifted 5 subs. You guys, you cannot do this to me. It's been you can't do this to me, everybody. I mean, clearly you can, but like.
We're off to a great start.
It turns out that oh my gosh, friends who roll dice, thank you for the host. John says we can and we will. Popcorn Lizard, thank you so much for the bits. All right. I'm like that close from just giving up and just sitting here and just waiting you out, stare you down. All right. One of the
They just like to mess with you with love.
I know, and I love it. But also, I'm trying to start the episode, you guys. All right. So as I was saying, one of the again. What? Okay. Yeah.
Roll credits.
This isn't going anywhere. This isn't going anywhere, anybody.
Just roll the theme.
It's great being here, guys. Thank you.
No episode, only love, says Lily. Yep, we're well on track for that, apparently. Oh my gosh.
We'll never find out what happened last episode.
We'll never find out. Okay. So, one of those very important things that happened was Peach finding her way onto Awakener, taking a short nap, which turned into a bit of an odd situation with the artifact, the ancient artifact, where Peach found herself in a sort of dream space while staring into the artifact, where she encountered the rival rival super that they had encountered back on Zoloterra, who seemed just as confused about being there as Peach was. It was overall a very bizarre encounter. Peach very nearly glimpsed using her dream powers, very nearly glimpsed this figure, but seeing only before he was sort of pulled away, before they were pulled away, seeing only a pair of eyes that she recognized as her own. That being something that Peach then grappled with for the entire rest of the short rest that they all took over the course of this month. There were some hovercraft repairs between Bina and Jade. They got the hovercraft left behind by Oriodo. They got that up and running, and it was a fun little.
Did some donuts. In
Did
the
some
parking
donuts in the
lot. It was
parking lot.
good.
We made donuts canon. That's right. I remember that now. We made like the food donuts. They're canon now in Infinite Horizon. So that was a very important part of that session. Let's see. There were a few other important things, if I remember correctly. there was mostly a lot of backstory on some of the NPCs that came out, specifically the nature of the tension between Wire and Zaya, and
Leading to my favorite line from last session, which was, "You trying to play matchmaker, princess?"
that's right. So, but all of these moments. We got a little bit of Mason backstory as
We
well.
did. We got the letter.
We got
Oh goodness.
we got the video message sent to Mason by by his wife, ex-wife, and
Who's to say?
who's to say? It was a very heart-wrenching moment, which I will not attempt to summarize right now, but suffice it to say that it had Mason considering his past. But all of that paled in comparison to the final reveal of the evening, where in a during a sort of family dinner in the apartment that Wire had procured for the crew, Wire herself calmed them all to tell them that there was something of an emergency and she needed them all immediately. And upon arriving back at Wire's bunker, that's a word I don't think I used last time. I don't think I used the word bunker. I think yeah. Wire informed them that she had detected some gravitational anomalies, some temporal disturbance in space-time, which then immediately blossomed in front of them, and with sort of a bright distortion and flash of light, and in the aftermath was left standing a lone figure in a sort of environmental suit, who looked around at all of them and said only the words "oh no" before we ended the session. Let's see, did I miss anything important? I think those were the big moments. There was a lot of character interactions last time, so not a whole lot of big plot points, but so that is where we pick up right up in the middle of that. There is a split second of just everybody just standing in stunned silence before suddenly Zaya has drawn a weapon and is pointing directly at the figure. She says, "Who are you and what are you doing here?"
You're Zaya?
Yes? What? That's
Oh no.
I want to read on this guy immediately. Please. Surface level emotions. Hit me.
Ooh. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so what you read off of this figure is very weird. It's like a collage of emotions, but there's something weird about it. So the main one you see is panic. He's got someone pointing a gun at him, and he clearly seems like he didn't mean to be here. But the
I
other
got that with
emotions
the
you're
"oh
feeling,
no."
yeah. But other emotions you're picking up are a bit weird because they seem like, imagine how, if you get a text, you see what time they sent it. You're getting emotions that he hasn't felt yet or felt
Oh.
years ago. So you're feeling like just, I don't know, despair, extreme happiness, but from 20 years ago. Embarrassment, but that was probably like a week ago. And just feeling a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But the main one that he's feeling right now is panic.
Yeah. You've never felt anything like this before, Bina. It's like hearing like echoes, but they're all coming at you at the same time, but from different distances. But you're just getting them all very suddenly. It is probably extremely disorienting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Would you care to introduce yourself?
Yes. Can you tell your friend to at least put the gun?
Oh, I don't think she'd listen to me.
Oh, okay.
She holds it. She says, "It's not loaded anyway. I don't need it." She just tosses it over her shoulder.
Okay. Taeyeon. I'm Taeyeon. Oh no. Do you have anything to eat?
Yeah.
You see a young human boy with blonde hair just sort of like still just sort of staring at you, just grab a like a box of food from one of the tables nearby and just slowly hand it over to you. Says, "Here."
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I kind of like take off my mask.
Yeah.
Um, and so everything is like a very high tech environmental suit, and it's just a long elongated mask, and I just peel it off, and underneath you see I guess a chemist. I don't know if anyone's met a
Yeah,
chemist.
so the Chemoth, you immediately recognize the reptilian species, the Chemoth. They are rarely seen outside of their own space, and there they tend to keep people out. They're pretty diligent about keeping people out of their own space, very gently nudging them back into their own, back out of their territory. Generally speaking, when they are seen outside of their own space, they're generally in clusters of them that will wander around and ask all kinds of questions about technology. Sometimes they will show up to construction sites and just start working and nobody like and not say anything to anybody. They'll just work and drastically improve the efficiency of any construction projects that are taking place. They are a people with a fascination with technology who tend they're most often employed as scouts and spies, assassins, mainly because of their affinity with stealth tech. They are cold blooded and they are from a very warm planet, hence the environmental suits that allow them to survive with some level of comfort in most other environments that are not their native one. So yeah, that's what you see standing before you. And if you have any specific details as to appearance,
Yeah.
Drac, go for it.
So I'm a dark reddish brown. I think I'm standing probably like 5'5", 5'6". And I think the strangest thing about me is I've got a weird. It looks like a scar, an oddly shaped scar, just around my eye, but it kind of looks like that part of his eye is smoother than his rest of his face, like it's younger. And that eye has every so often if the light hits it just right, you see a little like iridescent glimmer in that right eye. And he just starts eating. He just starts. Oh god, this is good. It's exactly what I needed. Okay. Sorry for barging in. I didn't plan to.
uh, you you hear some like Taeon at this point. You start hearing some like mechanical clicking and like clanking sounds in the background, and looking over, you can see where Wire the one of the humans in the room is currently like is watching you, but fingers are flying across a console, and you can see flashing on the screen full lockdown engaged, and like
Oh, fair enough. Actually, yeah, that's fair. This is awkward. This is this has never happened before. Um,
You can just start by introducing yourself.
I am Taeyon, and I'm not from around here. I'm not from around now. I guess you noticed that. I was like pointing at the screens.
Mhm. Yeah, you can still see like the display is still registering much lowered levels of temporal energy, um, significantly less drastic than it was just a few moments ago. But it's still there. It's still reading them. You hear just a very soft "oh" from Wire, and Zaya glances over her and says, "What? I still don't understand. Where are you from? I don't get it."
I am. I was like, so I look at my wrist, and it's just like a computer wristwatch.
Mhm.
I look at like, I'm from 25 years, 3 months, 7 days, and 54 seconds in the future. 53 seconds, 52 seconds, 50. I'm from the 25 years from in the future. This came. But I wasn't meant to stop here. I'm not sure why I did.
Zaya is just sort of staring at you, like with an expression that it hasn't changed mostly, and you're gathering because she still hasn't fully grasped what it like. She heard it. It's not. It hasn't processed yet. She's just sort of still staring at you, and she looks around the room. And she like meets all of the rest of your eyes. She goes, "No, no, 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 no. That's it. That's enough. Mm-mm." And she goes and she sits down. She says, "Nope." And she just sort of like sits down, head between her arms, and just sort of very softly, "Nope, mm-mm, nope, nope, nope."
I'm not even gonna pretend this is the weirdest thing that's happened to us in the past 2 months. I'm not gonna.
Wait,
So, wait, where were you headed?
I look at my watch again. But I was hoping to arrive about a year ago. I think something pulled me.
Ooh.
Into our
Yeah.
secret bunker that
Well-
is untraceable.
I mean, it could be the high concentration of whatever the fuck is up, because it seems like maybe same deal. Yeah, perhaps.
Quick question: is Olam here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
When I say that, I look directly at Olam.
Yeah. He goes, "Me?
Yeah, you're gravity. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I don't know what to say to this. I mean, what do we tell him things? I mean,
Oh, I'm just gonna be open with you all. I know, I've heard of all of you guys.
oh, good, good.
In what way?
Oh, you're like, okay, I haven't traveled this far back before. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Well, you're heroes, legends.
I need a drink.
I'm a mechanic.
A legendary mechanic.
Oh boy. Well, I can say that. I don't know if I want anybody else thinking it.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Olam just sort of looks. He says, what about my gravity? What is?"
Oh. Your existence kind of creates the gravity well, and I guess it kind of. We didn't factor it in when I got sent back. I don't think.
Whoa. At which point, Wire is already like, she's no longer looking directly at what is happening. You just see a whole bunch of displays being pulled up as she like is pretty quickly doing like that. You see research happening very quickly. You see like new readings being taken as she looks up and she goes, "Yeah, I can actually confirm that. Can't believe we didn't notice it before. That's interesting." And
I'm just over her shoulder staring at the screen like, yeah.
she looks, goes, do you maybe mind taking a couple steps back?"
Oh, sorry.
So wait, what's a year ago?
That's what I was just gonna ask too.
Nothing specific. I just needed at least a. Okay. You guys are planning to break someone out of a convoy that's being transported.
That's the first time that Wire fully turns around and looks at you.
It's my history, your future. Well, okay. So you probably heard about like I can't say a lot of things because I don't want something to change, but I do want to tell you enough that you don't shoot me. So I'm in
Yeah,
like
that
a
makes
really
sense.
tight tight spot right now.
Zaya's hand goes up, says, "That is still on the table, so good call."
Okay, so someone went back to stop you from doing that, and I'm going back to stop them from stopping you from doing that. Yeah.
But we haven't been stopped. So does that mean it didn't work?
Oh boy, this is where we have to describe time. Why? Do you have anything I can draw on? I'm more of a diagram annotator
She
kind of.
she strokes with a few keystrokes. She pulls up an AR display that just sort of pulls up right in front of you. That's essentially just like a virtual chalkboard, basically.
And then I just start drawing it. I'm like, okay, so basically time is like a stream. And actually, no. Okay. And then right on top of the same drawing, he just draws something else. Think of time like a loaf of bread, and we're in this slice at. No, that's not the greatest. Okay, hold on. And just keeps going over the same drawing. And by the end of it, he's gone through like maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 different failed analogies of time. And you just see like he just points at what he's drawing. Like, I guess time is it makes no sense. I'm just gonna be upfront. It's like a big ball of nonsense.
Jade
Have
just
you
says,
watched Nurse What?
Hmm?
Have you watched Nurse What?
Jade raises his hand and says, "Yeah, I've seen a few episodes."
What season are we on at this time?
I think maybe 5.
Okay, no, it hasn't happened yet. It's gonna. Okay, spoiler alert. In 2 months, there's gonna be an episode.
Jade
where...
fingers and ears.
There's gonna be an episode where Naswat describes time as a ball of wibbly, timey-wimey stuff. That's basically what it is.
I see that.
Yes.
I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not even entirely really sure either. I just travel through it. I don't really understand it.
So someone sent you back.
Yes.
And someone sent someone else back.
Yeah.
So how many people can time travel in your future?
As far as I was aware, I was the only one.
Okay.
But okay, so I can naturally time travel through a limited amount of time. I have to kind of okay. You guys know about the corpse, right?
Unfortunately.
We're acquainted.
Yeah. Good news. We managed to beat them back a decent amount, but in a last ditch attempt, they managed to put together a machine that could send someone back. So we didn't know about it. Probably should explain. I'm part of the resistance. Yes.
Resistance TM. I write in my notes.
And so we've been fighting the corpse for a while now, but then one day I just noticed that things were different. People stopped existing. I remembered them, but no one else did. Members of my squad suddenly became other people, and apparently I've known them for years, but I have no clue who they are. It took a while, but I figured out that it had to do with time, because I guess that's the only difference between me and anyone else.
They just altered reality.
Yeah. My guess is they went back and changed some stuff, which had some kind of ripple effect. So I managed to convince because obviously they thought I was crazy. If I told you that there was someone called Vox in our crew for years, and you didn't remember that Vox, obviously you're gonna think I'm just yeah, so it took a while, but I managed to convince them that there was definitely something wrong, and we plotted essentially a raid of the last HQ of the corps that we knew of, because we figured that must be where it all happened. So we raided the place. It was a tough fight. Lost some people that I did remember, and lost some people that I didn't. Um, but we managed to send me back, and we're hoping if I stopped them from stopping this, none of that will or would have, depending on the perspective, have happened, will happen.
It's certainly disorienting.
Yeah, I'm used to moving back and forth like max a week. I've never gone this far. And the week was because I got really excited, and you know the time flies when you're having fun. Time flies for me when I'm having any extreme emotion.
Oh.
Yeah, so this suit actually kind of helps me regulate my stuff.
Viva is like
No.
like Will is looking around it, kind of poking at it when you
I just
mentioned
imagine,
that
like-
it's not what it appears.
I just imagine Bina like holding up one of your arms and like looking at the.
Oh yeah, two arms holding up arms. The other two are like poking at like tech that is like on the outside. Like
my toe comes around, just like pushes you away.
Yeah, a fully like exosuit covered tail sweeps around and just sort of edges you out of the way.
Like,
she's oh.
yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I can't. One, timey-wimey stuff. Some of this hasn't been made yet. Second, it's just my tech and I don't really like sharing it.
Doesn't make me any less curious, but I
I
understand.
know. Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna still shoot me? I said everything I can think of.
Well, wait. Do you know anything about the person you're trying to stop?
Yes. So if you haven't noticed, I like shows about heroes. You know, that's what great show. Really recommend it. Best show on the frequencies. So the best way I can describe this person is my arch enemy, arch nemesis.
Name.
I don't really want to say because kind of just saying it is kind of, you know, secondhand embarrassment. Like, because
Makes you
their
really
name
mad.
is-
This makes you mad to say your enemy's name.
not even that it makes me mad. It's an embarrassing name. He goes by Entropis.
You just for the first time, like since like as you can see that Zaya slowly, as you've been explaining things, some of the shock is slowly starting to wear off, and for the first time she's just going. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Their whole thing is rapidly increasing entropy of things they touch. So they could touch, I don't know, a wall, and it would suddenly start to decay very quickly and breaking apart. And entropis. It was a bit too on the nose. That's why I thought it was kind of
Not very original.
yeah, no.
Wire just says, "Okay, hold on. I have a bunch of questions, and I understand you won't be able to answer probably about 90% of them. So I'll just start asking.
Yep.
First of all, so this resistance that you are a part of, what exactly is it you're resisting?"
Oh, okay. Can I say this? I think I can say this. In your future, not yours specifically, I mean like, because it's kind of hard saying my present, but I mean your present right now. In the future, there's a war, but it's fairly short-lived. It's between the Commonwealth and the
Ascendancy.
Ascendancy, yes. But we managed to, and we know that the corps kind of been in the background doing their thing.
Mhm.
So we've been trying to fight back the corps from the beginning because we knew that they were kind of the real bad guys, and then so we were the resistance of them, I guess. But it took us a while to convince the other two sides, the Commonwealth and the Ascendancy, to realize that the Corps were the real bad guys as well. So I guess to answer your question, sorry, I'm still a bit on the fritz. Traveling through time is, I'm not even entirely sure when I am. So
Mason
yeah.
definitely rings off a date for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so in terms of what we were resisting the corpse, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Next question. What do you know about this ship? Do you know where to find it? Do you know where it's going to be?
No.
Okay.
Like, I'm from the future, but like, I'm not born in another 3 years, 2 months,
Yeah,
a
okay.
week and 3
I
days.
understand. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff was past, me. And like, I probably can ask you, hey, what happened 10 years ago in the other side of the galaxy? You probably won't know.
Zaya just says,
History isn't.
you'd be surprised.
Okay, you're.
Wire just says, okay, fine. So you came back here, and the year that you were supposed to have was supposed to be spent finding this ship?
Yeah, just preparing what I can. Just a good amount of buffer time to stop this from being stopped.
Okay. Okay. Well, you didn't mean to come here, but as it turns out, you are here, and it looks like we're working together now because we have the same goal. And frankly, I don't know. I have no way of verifying, literally no way of verifying if anything that you say is true.
Yeah.
But for now, you can be useful. You may know things that will help us find the location of the ship that you may not even know are helpful. But so I'm going to be asking you a bunch of questions very soon, and you're going to answer all of them, and you're going to help me find this ship.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start setting up a program for this. You see as she like swipes a few strokes on the virtual screens, and you see the lockdown disengaged, and she says, I'm gonna go start working on that. You let me know if you well. And she just turns around and goes back into kind of behind her little divider area.
Hi, Wire. Don't worry, Taeyeon. That's just how she greets people.
Yeah, I figured. She seems kind of nice, actually. Very kind of refreshing.
She is nice.
Jade looks over at you and says, I'm Jade, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Jade.
Yeah.
I just extend a hand for a handshake.
And he shakes it and says, I've never met anybody from the future before. I've met a lot of weird people who could do weird stuff.
I mean, I'd be a little bit worried if you had, because it would probably mean you met the
That's
person
a good point.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. So if I met... Okay, no. And then he sits down exactly where like next to Zaya, and she just pats him on the back. She's like, "Yeah, there it is." Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Don't think. If I'm confused about it. So like, yeah.
I extend a hand, Mason. You already know who I am, I guess, technically.
I'm actually a big fan. Big fan.
Thanks.
Olam.
Big, like, I was gonna say it so I don't have to repeat it. I'm a big fan of all of you guys. So like, it wasn't part of my plan, but it was a great mistake.
Happy to have you, Binoba.
At this point, it is at this point they were standing perfectly still up until this moment, so it was a little bit like this as they suddenly move forward. You for the first time notice the Voxora Patch step forward and say, "I find your presence here curious. I am interested in
Patch." And I'll just go up to Patch and hug him.
they just sort of stop, just very like almost sort of like a very like organic response where they just sort of start and
Oh,
I don't know if anyone's ever hugged Patch in this game.
I don't think
yes.
so.
I'm first. Okay.
Patch says, "I see. Well,
What? Cool. We don't
I
want
was
to know
like, hold
emotions
his-
on that one.
Oh, what kind of emotions? I guess it would just be a sense of a very, I guess it's a sense of familiarity, I guess.
Okay, that's what I
Like-
thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of just holds Patch's face like, wow, you look exactly the same. Is that just not a thing? You don't really age? Is that you look, okay, wow.
I am
Oh,
understanding.
this is awkward. I realize you haven't met me yet.
No, I have
Oh,
not. Well, I have met
okay.
you right now.
Yeah, right now. But
Oh, and how tall is Patch again?
Patch is about is just a little bit taller than Peach. So
Yeah, aren't they like
This is
7
like-
feet?
Oh,
They're like
yeah,
seven.
some
They're
of them
like
are like
7 feet tall, right?
I'm like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know if I can top that reunion, but I'm Peach.
Nice to meet you, Peach.
Um
Sorry about that, Patch.
it is
He's kind of my
Fine.
mentor. They're kind of my mentor in the future. And I was like, Pat, Patch is on the back.
Oh my gosh.
Patch just sort of looks and then looks
So
over
cute.
looks over to you, Bina, and you would if you would swear that if Patch had any facial expressions that you would it is a look that you would swear if they had the capacity for facial expressions it would be this sort of like helpless like what do I do sort of look.
Their aperture just kind of widens slightly. Like,
That's
I
perfect.
adore them.
Zaya says, "Okay, so, are we done with crazy for today, or is there more coming? I mean,
We never run out, Zaya.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's a well with a bottom in it.
okay, well, I'm not gonna shoot you, I guess. I really was never going to. Like I said, it's not even loaded. I don't need it.
Yeah, I'm just
but,
like, when you point a gun at someone, you just, ooh,
yeah, no,
put someone on edge.
I get it. That's why I do it. It's for intimidation purposes. I didn't know.
It
who
really
you were.
worked. It really worked.
Good. I'm glad. Why are we? I'm gonna go have a drink. Mason, are you still? Okay. And she sits
yeah.
down and just takes the bottle out of your hand and just pours it. And just,
You're welcome. There you go. Cheers. Pour me one too. Pour one. Everyone want one.
Yeah. She starts just.
I'm good. I
pouring
don't
a
like
bunch
to
of them.
drink in time.
I think there's still leftovers.
Jade is
Yes.
already pushing
Yeah,
another
yeah.
box into your hands. So
Oh, guys, you wouldn't imagine how many calories you burn when you just traveling. Oh God, I just like.
Did we just come out of dinner? Did Wire call us down from food time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like,
So we just ate.
you were
or
like,
we hadn't finished our.
yeah, you were like
so we
right
were-
in the middle of dinner, so like you'd eaten
Yeah.
some, but like you definitely weren't done. So Jade just says, "So, what now? What are we? I mean, I guess this
Continue
this
with-
technically means our vacation is over. I guess.
Probably. Think we continue with the original plan, just starting now, and now we have a new friend.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna start trying to think about this as just, no offense, but I'm gonna start trying to think of this as picking up one of the other regular, like, any of the other number of people we've picked up along the way. Because if I think too hard about it, I get a headache. So
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
think too hard about it. Just,
yeah,
I'm from another planet.
okay.
We just use
I can
different
do
time
that.
zones.
I can do that. He kind of like takes one last glance over at the AR display that's still up, just kind of glances at like just the mess of drawings that's on there, and then just looks quickly away.
I think the last one was close. It can help me understand a little.
Yeah, it is the closest to the actual knowledge. You like the pie and the the feeling inside is it's honestly the closest to what time is like.
And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Dreamcraft to go ahead and make like a physical, like a 3D version of what you just like made on the graph. So like if it's like a drawing of a pie with like different weird sections cut out, it literally looks like an actual pie that has just appeared that looks like that.
Yeah, I'm traveling through that.
He's gonna do the equivalent of a screenshot on the display and like put it in her terminal in case she needs it later.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, this is pretty good. It looks pretty real.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt for a second because it's this. I am like barely containing this. Is very funny, but like one of my favorite moments from the show The Good Place is where they're explaining the Jeremy Bearimy thing.
Yes, Jeremy Bearimy. I was thinking about the whole time.
What is the dot? What is the dot? And then he explains it. He's like, "This broke me," and like that's my like the dot broke me. And like
that's how Zaya and Jade feel right now.
Yeah,
we can have this scene if we wanted to. Be no point. Be like, okay, so wait, what was this line again? And then with another arm, we'll be like, wait, no, okay, no, I remember that one. What was this one like?
Oh God. Anyway, that's the scene that has been playing out in my head this entire time. So that's why I'm just like sitting here like barely containing laughter.
I was gonna reference that as well, but you know. I already made a Doctor Who reference. I didn't want to just flood with references.
There you go.
Back, okay, you know, I'm still gonna try and sprinkle them in.
Good, necessary. All right, so sorry. Proceed with the scene unless there is any. Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions?
I mean, yes.
I guarantee there will be more. Yeah,
a lot of them. You said there was a war. Who is it over? Did a side win?
It was more like a wow, you're not the bad guy. They're the bad guy. Let's go after them instead, kind of thing. And the them was the corpse. So the tendency kind of just like, let's take out the corpse. They're definitely the galactic bad guys, I guess. So I guess it ended technically. Yeah.
Zaya nods. She says, "Actually, I mean, it's not good to learn that, but it tracks with some of the information that that Becker and I picked up when we were working not too long ago. Some of the information that we found, it could have pointed to any number of things, but some like shipments and troop movements suggest that both the Ascendancy and the Commonwealth know that something's coming."
Yeah.
Okay. Pressing question number 2. Are you familiar? Do the histories have anything about an artifact?
Ooh.
A powerful artifact.
Actually.
Something beyond the average.
So. Yes. Okay. I can travel to. So I got thrown back with a machine, but I can just naturally like shift through time. Usually a few minutes, few seconds. Definitely not this far. This is still feeling a jet lag. But I got my abilities from what I assumed was an artifact. So all of you guys, you got your powers, and I just point at Peach. You can, well, I mean, you just did it, summon things. I remember, yeah. There was apparently you summoned like a whole army in on a. I don't know if I can tell you this. Has this happened yet? You summoned
But
how much can it?
An army maybe is exaggerating, but
I mean that's also kind of what history is. It's always an exaggeration. You, Bina, you can turn into light, right? Is that a thing you can do, or am I out? Never mind. Pretend I didn't say that.
Nope. She kind of like glows a little bit. She's like,
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, Mason's all over this.
Mason.
Yeah, everyone's like categorized, like permanently known.
Mason, you're like hyper adapt adapt. I didn't listen in class, so
Oh,
I
hyper
hyper
adaptability.
adaptive. Is that it? Hyper.
Was
That's the word.
Mason was
Hyper adaptability.
on the quiz.
I mean, yes.
Oh,
I
don't
did say
tell
you're kind of like
Wire.
legends.
Don't tell Wire we did a really bad job of keeping a low profile.
Oh, I'm gonna. Yeah, are they here now? Because you did terrible. I mean, you're in the history
That
books.
checks out, though. Honestly.
Yeah.
We didn't really try that hard, to be
Yeah.
fair.
I could tell from what I read. Well, all of you got your abilities from the corpse, right? Experiment. I got mine. I guess the closest to naturally that you can. Um, I okay. I'm from Desh, and I'm assuming you know Desh. We're pretty
Yeah,
great planet.
Here's the thing about
Beautiful.
Dash. You all know of its existence. Nobody that you know has ever been there because it is deep within Chemoth space, and yeah, like I said,
Like-
pretty good at protecting their borders. They don't like anybody in there.
Beautiful summers, like love it. Anyway, when I was a kid, I would sneak out at night because that's what kids do, and just roam around the ancient ruins that are pretty unsafe and probably shouldn't be done. Like thinking back on it, I was an idiot. If I could go back in time, okay, yeah, if I could, I would tell myself not to because that was very dangerous. But I think I saw the artifact, a artifact, but it wasn't then. And I literally mean it wasn't then. I saw an echo that I'm pretty sure was from the past, like way.
Left an imprint?
I think so. I saw figures, couldn't see their faces. And one of them was holding something, and I don't know if they dropped it or just threw it at the ground, but whether it was shattered, and then I got an actual blast of something. Passed out, woke up like I think a week or two later. Yeah, with this, and I kind of like point at my weird scar. Yeah, but I think this is kind of what clued me in that it was an artifact. When I woke, just before I woke up, I heard whispers, like hundreds, thousands of whispers. I couldn't make out any of them, but it sounded mystical, I guess, ancient. I haven't heard them since, but it seems to have been an artifact. So technically, yes, I have heard an artifact, but I don't know when it is or where it is. Sorry, that was a really roundabout way of saying yes, I've heard of an artifact.
Jade just is like hanging on your every word. He's like, "Wait, so when you were a kid, does that mean it hasn't happened yet?" Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very confusing. It's gonna happen in maybe about say like 8 years. 8 years. You know, I'm not gonna go through that again. But yeah, about 8 years.
Wow. That's really cool.
So, artifact proximity either makes warped, or when it's tampered with, gives kids in the future superpowers. It's a fun sliding scale to have to manage.
Huh. And you heard the whispers too.
Two. You heard whispers?
I hear whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard them since.
They were
But-
calling out from everywhere.
Yeah. A little bit scary, especially since I was like 8. So that was terrifying.
Well, I guess some things never change.
Yes, because you heard them now, and then I'm gonna hear them in the city. Sorry, time is just. Can you remind me what day is again?
Yeah, it's like the 7th.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
For the first time since all of this happened, Alma actually speaks up and she says, "Well, wait a minute. If the artifacts are responsible for warped and for us, then clearly there's been, it makes sense why Silverbreak is so interested in them, why they want them."
Eos was a test for just untampered proximity.
So they were trying to see if they
What
could
would happen?
if they could produce more of us. She sits back in her seat and just shakes her head. Well, I mean, I guess that's one mystery solved, kind of. Doesn't really get us anywhere, but at least we know what... I mean, she gestures over to the professor. She says, at least we know what it is that they want with them now. Why they're after them.
I think we talked about this like a while ago, didn't we? I just remember. I don't know if I'm just having deja vu, but I feel like we've had this conversation before. Maybe it's we're in the midst of time travel.
I think
Sorry,
we
that was
did.
me. Sorry.
I think we did know that the artifacts were causing powers. We just weren't sure how.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was mostly, if I recall, it was mostly speculation. Because
I
I mean, it's confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's confirmed. I think we were at the time. I think we were theorizing that
and
this was the case, but we didn't know.
it was
for sure
it was
anything.
very much corroborated by a lot of the stuff that Abriel told you that she was working on on EOS, and her working with you, essentially coming with you, was her way of trying to continue that. But yeah, so you've known that they were related, but yeah.
Okay, cool. I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay.
Mostly, this is the first time you have like hard 100%. This is
Yes.
confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So
Yes. Cool. Excellent.
Huh. I wonder if there's a third option.
Oh wait, is that I don't know. I don't think so.
Sorry, I know we just confirmed a theory, not to add another possible theory, but
I mean, hopefully containment means nothing. And across the board neutral on that front, but
I don't know, maybe Jade could get superpowers.
Jade
we're
looks
not
up. Says,
testing that right now.
Yeah, I
I mean,
wouldn't recommend.
as great as
testing
that
that.
would be, I don't like the alternative. I mean, that's
I don't either.
It's okay. I was just kidding, Jade.
okay.
Bina also kind of like takes down like, oh, okay.
I love that people thought that was serious. It's adorable.
Caitlin knew you were joking.
Yeah.
Bina was like, hey,
Oh, I know, I know.
absolutely not.
Huh.
Um,
Well, corpses are evil.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Tried and true. Yeah.
Alma just says, well, I mean, there's not really a lot we can... I mean, this is fascinating information, but there's not really a lot we can do with this right now. I mean, what do we do now? I mean, we have to prepare, right? I mean, we're going to be going after not just the ship, like we thought, filled with who knows what kind of security, but now also somebody who knows what the future looks like. I mean, how do you prepare for that?
Oof.
And rotate them frequently?
Sorry, what was that? Didn't hear the beginning of what you said.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I said we make lots of plans and rotate them frequently? Like shield modulation. Good to know.
That could work.
It also seems really unstable and
Yes.
not something that anyone would have a lot of control over. But
Yeah, no.
Well, we have no way of knowing if the plan that we're doing now is influenced by the fact that we know that someone is coming to stop our plan, so we could
That makes okay.
change.
And I point at my diagram. So you see that dot right there. So basically, that basically means that the future I saw where things changed was the future where I didn't go back.
Mm-hmm.
So me going back does give us a chance to fix it. So the future I'm from was where I didn't go back. So you just did a plan and failed. It was kind of embarrassed. It was a really bad failure. I'm just gonna. So, but now that I've gone back, I can stop that from happening. I can help you guys stop that from happening by hopefully helping you come up with a plan that Entropis, oh, I hate that, Entropis doesn't know about. Basically, there is hope. It's not written in stone. Time is very fluid.
I can see that.
Yeah. See, Mason gets it.
Jade nods. Says, "Okay, I think I get it. So, basically, Entropis, we're here worried about what Entropis knows happened, except that, wow, it's a lot worse when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
But Entropis coming back is the thing that changes things. So actually, he might have messed it up himself, kind of, in a way.
Sort of.
Because if he hadn't come back, then you wouldn't have come back. And that, oh God, I hate this.
I think we should just come up with a really, really great plan with the help of our new friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very up for that. That sounds less confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, what happened, Caitlin?
Caitlin, you just kind of mute.
Hello?
All of a sudden.
You got muted for a sec.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
It was Entropis.
Oh no.
They're here.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
Disguised as Colette.
Oh God. I locked her out. No, I don't know. I just said less time explanations if we just make plans and just don't question the passage of time.
Yeah.
Zion stands up, says, "Okay. Well then, it looks like vacation time is over. So, you all start preparing. I'm going to try to make contact with Becker because he's out in the field looking for this place. And if we can coordinate our efforts with you and with whatever Wire's working on back there, we stand a better chance of finding this thing sooner rather than later."
Sounds good.
Okay. She stands up and she starts walking out and then like hesitates next to you, Tan, and turns and looks, says, "Sorry about the pointing a gun and almost shooting you thing."
Oh, you're good. I would have done the exact same thing.
Okay. And then she just goes sort of over into one of the corners and just starts like working at a communications terminal trying to like raise Becker. All right. So, unless there's anything specific that you all want to do.
Contemplate the nature of time.
Yeah. Jade says,
He'll roll for it. No.
"Well, do we have..."
I'm just looking something up really quick.
Jade says, "I mean, do we have to stay here? I mean, if we go, maybe we can still get the rest of dinner?"
Yeah, I'm on
Wait,
that
there's
plan.
more?
Are you still hungry? I made so much food.
Yes. I'm very hungry.
Yeah, let's go back then.
Let's go
I
finish
feel like
it.
I haven't eaten for at least 25 years. what I'm
In
going
reverse.
to eat in
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Wire
Everyone
leans her
makes
head
just
around
moans.
the divider, and she says, "Just be ready for when I call you. This program that I'm writing won't be ready for a while yet, but be ready for when I call you because we'll need to start as soon as possible."
Quick question.
Mm.
How long do you mean by a while?
I don't know, a few hours maybe.
I want to need to check something real quick because I have an ability.
Uh-huh.
So okay, it's called temporal acceleration. You or one willing character you touch moves quickly through time. It only lasts a minute, but I don't know how quickly it accelerates things. So I don't know if you were to do that hour in a minute.
Interesting.
Would that work?
Yeah, I'd say it probably could.
You could probably also make Wire's corporeal form move at the speed of the tech with which she works.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I could, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, sure. We'll say that'll. So, Wire, so as you step up kind of behind the divider, she's just sort of looking at you and just like hasn't stopped coding, by the way. Like even when she like leaned around the divider, she clearly hadn't stopped. And so she's still working. She's, "Why are you a computer expert or something?"
Oh no, I'm terrible with computers. Absolutely awful. I had a person for that. I would also do this to my person, and I'll just place a hand on my shoulder, and like for a second, like it's almost like I just catch a flame, but the flames are like blue, green, red, like the Northern Lights kind of thing, and then all of that just reverts onto Wire, and then they just speed up. Everything slows down
For
to
like
them.
a second, you put your hand on her. She's like, "What are you?" And then just suddenly is just yeah. She's like, you see from your perspective, you see that as she like basically does like a double take, and you see like all this stuff. She speaks, but you can hear, what you hear is like a high frequency, just like you can't even really understand what she's saying, just like high frequency, and then she just then starts working, and you just see as like it looks like Wire's entire form is just a blur.
So I point at her like, so we've probably got like, I don't know, 5 minutes before she's done. So, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm up for that.
All right.
Bring her back some
I'm
stuff.
just gonna watch Wire kind of move around really fast.
Yeah. It's mostly, it doesn't look like much other than like her hands are blurring, but every once in a while you'll see as she like gets up from her seat and zooms across the room, zooms back, and just like, yeah, it is.
So Wire seeing Peach in slow motion, like,
You know, that's what I'm also thinking.
her work.
All right.
I just think it would look really funny to watch, so I'm just gonna stand and watch.
Okay. Well then, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our break early, about 10 minutes early. We'll come back here in about 10 minutes. Yeah. So, and we will continue with the story. So, we will see you in a few minutes. Take a moment, stretch your legs, get some water, use the restroom.
Smell you later.
Yeah. All right.
Your legs.
See you in a few minutes, everybody. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you had a chance to take a nice little break before we jump into the rest of tonight's episode. So, when we left off, our guest explained his origins from the future.
Explained.
Yeah. It's attempted to draw a diagram and drew something that could be a diagram, but is...
Hey, it was 4D.
It was 4D, yeah. It was a 4-dimensional drawing. Which is to say that you just sort of like mounted a fan onto the top of it, so every time anybody looked at it, it would just sort of like gently blow their hair.
They could smell the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Dimension.
Oh God! Don't even get Jade started on the scent of time.
Time has
Is that enough for today?
has this really weird smell. It's kind of like somewhere in between like burnt rubber and. Have you ever smelled sadness?
Yeah, it's between that.
It's
You know.
somewhere in between those. Uh, all right. Anyway, so jumping back in. So we'll have a little bit of past time here as you elapsed time in the middle as you end up back at the back at the apartment and finish your somewhat cold but still edible.
What needs to be
Yeah.
reheated.
Your cold but edible, still very edible dinner.
Upon second reheating, some of it tastes different somehow.
Oh,
Some of
is
it
this how-
changed colors upon the second reheating. So you know,
Is it what feels like 25 years? I'm here for it, I guess. I guess it's technically vintage, right?
This is all
Or
vintage
expired?
to you.
We're expired. Yeah. Now that I think of yeah.
Yeah, vintage food doesn't have a great taste, doesn't have a great sound.
Yeah.
Just take a bite.
there is as you're sitting there, Taeyeon, and you're just sort of digging into the food. Much of it is very bizarre. It is looks very strange, unlike any dish that you've ever seen before. And at some point, somebody will explain to you that it is mostly Bina just sort of does stuff, and it usually turns out great, even though it looks very weird. But
It's really good.
I
I'm
know.
honestly surprised. I mean, I ate it
Me too
because before because I
sometimes.
just had to eat it, but like now I'm eating because I actually want to.
So
That's
this
what I
means
like
that you
to
can
hear.
put her cooking in the books now, right?
I mean, I guess I've never thought about writing a book. Yeah, sure. Bina's recipe book by Taeyeon. I feel like it should be written by Bina.
I've never used a recipe, made a recipe, or written a recipe down, so it might be a little difficult.
Oh,
We figured it
I'll
out.
write it for you then.
I think you'll
There you
need
go.
field notes.
Yeah.
As you're sitting there having this conversation, Taeyeon, you suddenly feel this. Several things happen simultaneously. First, you see a door down one of the hallways in the apartment open, and a figure step out. A young a young woman, who is Nelfin, and as you look up, sort of instinctually, just sort of following the sound and the movement at the corner of your eyes, meet, and all of a sudden you feel very disoriented. It's like you're feeling this weird vertigo, as really she's the only thing in focus, and you feel, in addition to that, almost like you're being pressed down into your seat, like just this enormous weight is being pulled on you, and at the same moment, the rest of you notice that Sedona sort of like sways in the hallway and like stumbles and puts her hand up against the wall to support herself, and as she just sort of she looks visibly dizzy. You can see sort of like a sort of bluish tinge start to take hold of her cheeks as she just sort of like holds over. Jade immediately rushes to her and like grabs her and like supports her. It's like, "Are you okay?"
Is this?
Uh,
Are you sure we're allowed to reheat this?
there's a moment as this sensation lasts for just maybe about 30 seconds and then gradually starts fading away.
Am I like overwhelmed by stereo emotions here? Like,
there's
do I
a
get
there's a
anything
bit of
from
a,
this?
there's a bit of a feedback loop, and that sort of vague, sort of echoey feeling that you were getting from Taeyeon's emotions before had sort of died down, so that you could still kind of feel them, but they were very only really if you paid attention to it. But now you're hearing them, even like you're feeling those feelings even louder than they were even when you first met. Feeling like now it's where before it felt like you could very distinctly tell that it was different emotions from different times. It's like you're feeling different emotions from different Taeyeons that are present right now. It's like kind of a prismatic effect almost, where you're just sort of,
Cool.
yeah, it is this weird feedback loop happening right now, but it's slowly dying down, as Jade sort of steadies Sedona, and she says, "No, I'm okay. I'm okay." she's
Yeah, I kind of reach an arm out to steady Tan.
Mhm. Yeah, she nods. Just
Thanks.
walks over and sits down at the chair next to you, Taeyeon, and just sort of looks at you and she says, "Who are you?"
I was gonna ask the same question. Um,
I'm Sedona, and she says, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of make me a little bit dizzy."
oh no, I hear that a lot actually. No, I don't. But I felt the same way when you make me a little bit dizzy as well.
Jade is like scowling, looking between the two of them, going like, what is like with a sort of what is happening look on his face. She said, "Are you like us? I mean, I wait. I know you are. How do I know that?"
I don't know. I'm very confused. Usually, I'm the one that knows things that other people surprisingly know. Um,
And she just sort of holds, kind of like rubbing her temples. Like the sensation has now kind of like worn off, but like there's
Yeah.
still this sort of dull kind of like dull ache around the temples, as well as like every once in a while, if you like look too fast or turn your head too fast, you can feel that vertigo kind of come back a little bit.
Can I help at all with that?
Maybe.
Mm. I just feel bad that people are feeling bad.
wait. Sedona, right?
Yeah.
You said like us. Like you have your power. Yeah, you're super.
I can
Guess
see.
they.
I can see a lot of different possibilities. Basically, that's what I see.
Oh. Oh. Okay. I guess that kind of explains it. Bina, do you have that screenshot of that diagram I drew?
And she'll pull it up on a.
Sedona looks at it and says, "What is that?"
That's time. Oh, hi, I'm Taeon. I'm from the future.
She frowns, and then you can see sort of like a look of understanding kind of pass over her face. She nods, says, "Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, ooh, okay, that makes sense. I
I
think."
think. Yeah, I think her powers might be clashing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll try to
Flashing?
direct them away from you, and we'll.
Yeah, I turn to Mason. Um, so what I'm getting is Sedona can see a bunch of possible features. Um, I can technically create an infinite amount of futures, so she
Big,
might be seeing a lot of.
big headache.
Of you.
Yeah.
In
Did the
different...
rest of
Huh.
did the rest of the crew ever find out that Sedona could see futures? Because right away
No,
she was. Yeah, I
this
don't
is-
think you
this
you
is-
guys.
I
this
know.
is
So
new.
we don't know that.
This is
Yeah,
brand
that's
new
what I was
information.
also wondering.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
brand
this-
new information too.
I had a feeling it was. That's why.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like only
Looking
Bina
back and
knows,
forth.
but via inference.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sedona ever specifically told her. It was just like, hi, and Bina was like, So yeah.
She says it kind of feels it like the way it always does, like what I usually see, which is, but just so many more, so many more.
Yeah, and I guess her seeing the futures make it. I feel really heavy right now. Like heavy in, I guess, the fourth dimension is a weird way to describe it. I feel like I can't move.
Olim nods. He says, "Oh, like anchored in time, because she saw a lot of possible futures, and you operate your powers have the potential of creating many of them. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
paradox a little bit."
Sort of. Yeah. You know that little squiggly line there? It's kind of like if there's a circle around it. You know?
A paradox for dinner.
I think that's the episode title.
I think it is. Yes.
That's the
Same
episode
thing.
title right there.
I love it.
Maybe I rescind my earlier statement. Maybe this is the weirdest thing that's happened to us.
I agree.
I mean, I'm honored that gets to be the weirdest.
So,
But this is actually a first for me as well.
she nods. She's,
Yeah, I'll try not to use my stuff around you as well.
okay. She looks around the table, just sort of start now seemingly aware, like in the moment, taken off guard by this whole circumstance, sort of revealed this, and now seems to be like catching up with the fact that she said it. She says, yeah.
Ina will hand her a plate with dinner on it.
She just she'll take it, and she just plays idly with the food. Or she's sort of like looking around at everybody. She says, I mean, I was gonna tell you eventually when telling you wasn't going to affect the outcomes of things that I'd seen.
That doesn't. That's not surprising at all, actually. After all, today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you probably knew exactly how we'd react.
I saw a few different ways that it might go. At a few different times, if I told you at different times, and you would be influenced by lots of different factors, I had to find the right time. And well, I don't know if this was it, but it's too late now.
I mean, actually, I could jump back.
Please
and
don't.
just, like,
Don't do
okay.
that. She says, I think I'm gonna sit over there. And she points to like one of the empty seats, just sort of away from the table, and she grabs it. She says, "I'll still be here. I just." And she's just like sitting at the seat, sort of as basically seating herself as far away from Taeyeon as she can, and just sort of sitting and starting to peck a little bit at the food.
Oh boy, I did not think that you have two people who affect my ability. Apparently, okay, that's going to be interesting.
So if not to get more into this whole time travel and alternate possibilities, but one more time, if stupid name Entropus, if he can, if he is a new factor, if he's come back and changed something and knows our plan, Sedona, could you possibly see which plan he interrupts?
I can try, but it might cause the same thing, but does he doesn't have the same abilities as you, right?
No, he got sent back thanks to a machine. He doesn't really have any time powers except for the increase in entropy, which some people probably can consider a time-related kind of thing.
Well, if his powers aren't related to time, then it might be unpleasant, but it won't be like this. So maybe.
I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay. It's not your fault. But maybe. I don't know. And it's difficult because it's frustrating because I can't, even if I see it, I can't say because it might change how you act. So it's, but there might be a loophole. I mean, maybe if I see something and I just influence, and you just have to trust me that what I say is right. I won't tell you, I won't explain anything, but just guide, maybe? But
follow the leader?
I don't know. I've never done that before. It's possible. I've never done that before. And I don't know, even if I were to do that, if he's part of your plans, then I don't know how that's going to affect it. I think I might be useless to you right now.
Never useless. Just maybe not useful in this particular way right now.
Okay.
Well, still something to consider in the future. Maybe. Future.
Yeah, there's a lot of turn of phrases that have to do with time, and I get it kind of makes it weird now that I've. Yeah.
I think this is backtracking just a little bit, but I think when Sedona was explaining, like, oh yeah, sorry, I did this part, I think Bina was doing the very guilty, like, not, like, I definitely didn't know, like, eating while looking down. And it's just flavor text, but she would have been like, yeah, oh yeah, new information.
Oh yeah, Bina seems real surprised.
Right about this point, as you all sort of fall silent, just sort of absorbing everything that just happened, you all receive the communication from Wire that says it's ready.
What was that, about 5 minutes?
I'm gonna be absolutely exhausted after that wears off. I just wanna probably should have warned her about that actually.
I mean, she's always pretty exhausted, so.
All right.
Okay, let's bring our meals. Just kind of scooping up the bowls and
bring food for Wire too.
Okay, sounds good. So, you make your way back to the
hidey hole.
Yes, back to the hidey hole, back to Wire's hidey hole. So yeah, when they're basically immediately as soon as you get there, you can see that Wire is absolutely showing more signs of exhaustion than she normally does, but is also like fully not succumbing to them, either through resilience or sheer stubbornness. Either way, as soon as you step inside, she just sort of looks over and says, "You here," and gestures to Taeon, and basically just begins barraging you with a whole bunch of questions about like surrounding the events that take place, and just like all sorts of things, and having you answer all kinds of questions that to you don't really seem relevant, but yeah.
While
she's scary, so I just answer.
While she's talking, I'm assuming she does not stop, but Bina will just kind of like come in from the side and slide in front of her like some food for her to just take while she's pestering our new friend.
Sounds good. Peach, I'll say from where you're standing kind of over near the couches, you can see as Alma has settled back in, she has she has her terminal up with an AR display as she's sort of swiping through it. Looking over her shoulder, you can see that what she's picked up is essentially some of the same news like articles that you were looking over not too long ago. These are pretty specifically local, so from local on Sulon. She's sort of swiping over them, and you can see sort of a perplexed look on her face as your attention slowly gets drawn to her from the from Wire and Taeon. She's just sort of looking,
Are you looking for something specific, Alma?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
You have a hunch?
Maybe. She's Mason, do you mind coming over here for a second? And yeah, she says, I hope you don't mind, but I pulled up, I downloaded some of your case files, connected to the ship and all that. I can't help it.
Oh, yeah.
And she...
No, it's alright. I put it there for a reason, I suppose.
Well, look at this. And she, like, throws up several more displays projecting them. She says, these are some of the cases that Mason was investigating, of missing persons cases that Mason was investigating while investigating your brother. And right, oh, these over here, and she throws up a bunch more displays where you can see like news articles, like not big articles, just sort of like back page kind of stuff, like really just like minor snippets, things like that, brief mentions here and there. She just sort of points, says, "Look at this. There have been over the past year, maybe more. There have been people just disappearing from Sulan, and they look similar. But I've been running them through one of Wire's programs that she let me use, looking for any kind of patterns or pattern recognition, and there are two distinct patterns in all of these missing persons. There are those like all of you who just who were picked up by Silverbreak, and those, and she throws up more like changes some of the displays, and you can see where what it looks like you're looking at tracked shipments and activities by like corporate activities. Which is in every one of the systems and planets where people went missing, where Silverbreak was involved, you could actually see where there was some increased level of activity on corporate movements. But that only accounts for about 15% of the disappearances. All of these, and she kind of groups them all together and sets them aside. Says, all of these follow much more the pattern that I'm seeing here on Sulan, and Silverbreak hasn't really been that active, at least no more than usual. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. This is all just shipments of tech and various goods. This isn't, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm seeing here exactly, but I know there's two distinct patterns within these disappearances, and they are patterns. Just one of them doesn't make sense to me.
Huh. So there could be people disappearing for a reason that's not Silverbreak.
Which means, on the plus side, it means that the numbers of people like you that they've managed to make are probably a lot less than we thought.
Where are they being taken?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't run any kind of tracing programs on any of these. The only thing that I've done is just separated out the patterns, but I bet if we... That's why I wanted you to look at this, Mason, because I bet if we followed some of these... I mean, I don't know how relevant it is, but I don't know. There's just something. I can't explain it. It just...
Like a gut feeling.
Kind of. Yeah.
I think you are onto something. Definitely.
And I wouldn't have even noticed if it hadn't been for us staying here for so long, because it seems like, I mean, there's evidence of these kinds of disappearances all over the galaxy, but Sulan's been hit the hardest as far as I can see. You can see, and she pulls up like a galaxy map, and she says all of the orange spots are where I've detected the patterns of missing persons related to Silverbreak. The green dots, and she's like, you see another layer that just sort of spreads across. Just the green dots are the other pattern, and look, the highest concentration of them is right here on Sulan. There are others elsewhere, and certainly it's not the majority of the cases, but but the highest concentration are here.
And why?
Some of it can be chalked up to, well, the hive that lives here, the hive of caretakers. Sometimes they'll pull people in, join them to the hive, and they become like interpreters, mouthpieces. I don't know the right term for it, but for the hive, and they serve as intermediaries between the hive and the other residents that live here. But sometimes they become joined to the hive and aren't in the public. They do whatever it is the hive needs them for, but this is so some of those disappearances can be accounted for in that way, but I don't know, some of these don't look like that. Usually those people, even though they become joined, they're always found eventually. They're always accounted for, either through directly asking the hive, or just people will run into them one day working in a maintenance shaft. But
what's the key difference in these disappearances
between the Silverbreak ones and the others, or
yeah, what makes them so distinctly different? Like, are we talking disappearing into thin air, like what Taeon said, or
I mean, I haven't tried to trace any of them to see if if any of them left a trail. I haven't done that yet. I mean, I'm just finding this out now, but the key difference is that with Silverbreak, there's patterns. Either people who crossed their path, or joined programs that they themselves created specifically for the purposes of screening for candidates. But and if they weren't that, then they were people off the street, people that people with few connections that wouldn't be missed. They were easy enough to, and it was easy enough to connect those disappearances with Silverbreak activity in the area. But these others, the pattern is that there is no pattern. It seems completely random who is affected and who isn't.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe they're trying to make it random.
Maybe. Or maybe it's... No, I don't... That doesn't make any sense.
Speak.
Maybe it's not... Maybe it's not intentional. Maybe it's not somebody doing something. Maybe it's... I don't know. Maybe... I mean, I can't even begin to speculate what else it might be, but maybe this one isn't a conspiracy. Maybe it's something else.
a side effect? An accident?
Possibly.
It's a pretty big accident.
Yeah, that's why I said it seems impossible, but... I don't know. I don't know what to make of any of this.
How many dots are there, like, on the screen? Like, is it like 50? Is it like 100? Is it like 1,000? Is it like 100,000? Like, how many people are missing? Like, I know it's probably like a rough estimate. Like, it's probably not every single person, but...
Yeah, so right now, from the data on the screen, it looks like probably somewhere in the vicinity of... actually, there are different answers to that question based on... which Alma will explain. Basically, as you're looking over these data points, depending on the amount of time that you're looking at, like how far back you go, um, the numbers are anywhere from between about maybe 50 within the last 6 months to about probably close pushing 1,000 over the last like 6 years.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and one of the other things that is interesting is that so Sulon is located kind of in the if you're looking at the map at the galaxy map, Sulon is located in the northwestern quadrant of the galaxy. It is like that's where most of everything that you know is located. But Sulon is located very close to the border between the northwestern and the northeastern quadrants. Um, and as you're looking at that, you notice that the highest concentration of dots in terms of the galaxy, there are little pockets where there are denser areas, but most of those denser pockets seem to be closer to that side of the quadrant. Or sorry, that's not true. The denser pockets are sort of scattered around. It's just that the majority of the like the not the pockets, the majority of like the individual cases are closer to that side of the map. So the pockets are sort of scattered everywhere. But the individual cases that aren't so clustered up, they are much more heavily concentrated kind of towards the eastern side of the northwestern quadrant.
So is that in like kind of the border or
No,
in the Ascendancy or in the Commonwealth?
It is close to Commonwealth space, but it is not. It's a little ways out of Commonwealth space.
Okay.
Infinite Horizon map coming at some point.
I know. I want to one day print it out and put it, or get a big printout and put it on my wall behind.
Alma shrugs. Says, "I'm not really sure what to make of any of this. I just thought it was. I don't know. Just thought it was interesting.
I'll be taking a deeper look into it.
I was hoping you would. Like I said, I don't have the skills for this. I just have." She gestures generally over her shoulder towards where Wire is. Just some pretty advanced computer sorting programs at my disposal, and also my brain is connected to a ship, and its data banks. So
That'll be very helpful. That and some coffee, and I'll be ready.
I was hoping you might be. Let me know if you want me to scan Awakener's databases for anything. I mean, there might be some interesting pieces of information in there that might be related. I don't know. Awakener's always passive scanning basically anywhere we go, pulling in data, so.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Very good eye, Alma.
Thanks. In the meantime, on the other side of the room, Wire says, and you're absolutely certain that there were no corporate entities located in this region at this time, correct? Oh, I think you're muted.
I said, sorry. I'm as certain as I can be, which is like, I don't know, probably like 80%. So that's a pass.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a passing grade. So
it's
yeah,
good enough. Okay, good. I think from everything that you've said, plus still waiting on Becker's report, but this is all going to be very helpful. I plugged everything that you told me into the program that I have, and it's currently sorting through the new data. So we might have something soon. At this point, Zaya says, "Strike that," and she's kind of like holding a disc, and she says, "We've got Becker's report right here." Wire nods. Says, "Let me have that." And just sort of plugs it in and starts just quick scanning the data and nods. Says, "Okay, I can work with this. I can."
What's happening? What does it say? I don't really understand what's going on.
Wire is not paying attention to you. She's just sort of looking at all of this stuff. And Zaya looks kind of sideways at you and she says, "It's probably best to give her a second." And she just sort of very gently and cautiously puts a hand on Wire's shoulder, who just sort of starts and then looks at her. And Zaya says, "When was the last time that you slept?" She says, "It's not important. This is important." And you can see Zaya just sort of eyes closed, and then they open again. And she says, "You're no good to anybody if you collapse right now, and you look like you're about to." Mm-hmm. Wire stands up, and Bina, you feel just this flash of anger, like just rage from Wire. Her face doesn't change. She just looks up at Zaya and says, "I can handle it." And Zaya says, "That's not in question. I know you can. But right now, we need you at your best. Look at this. None of us is going to be able to parse this. Not as fast as you can."
You did get some extra time with help from Taeyeon. Squeeze a nap in?
Wire looks down, and as quickly as it came, it is gone. The anger is just like, but not like it's gone. It's like she just clamped down on it. It is gone. Like a candle flame that just got snuffed out. You can see as she just sort of grimaces slightly as she just sort of rubs the place where her cybernetic arm connects to her organic arm. She just sort of says, "I've been meaning to do some maintenance anyway." She stands up and she looks at you, Bina. She says, "When that thing beeps, you come get me. I don't care how long I've been asleep."
Roger.
And she moves over back behind the divider. And even just from this angle, you can kind of catch just a sort of a vague like glimpse of her as you can see as she's like just the slightest sliver of facial expression. As you can see, as soon as she believes that she is out of sight, you can see her whole face just kind of screws up in an expression of pain. As she just like looks down, you see as she starts.
I'm sure I feel it too.
Yeah, she starts disconnecting like like her cybernetic arm and starts like working at it, pulling out like a small toolbox and starts setting it aside, and starts like basically like removing the cybernetic. As she's doing this, she glances up, meets your gaze, Bina, and then she flicks her hand, swipes her hand across an AR display, and you see as like the divider like unfolds to like another panel to block your view.
I was gonna offer to help, maybe get her to nap sooner, but that's okay too.
I'm going to kind of approach as quietly as I can to where the divider is, and I want to try and listen and see if I can hear for when she is kind of set down like her fiddling and her tools, and I know she won't ask for help, so I want to put her to sleep
Okay.
after she has stopped.
Yeah.
Like
you can hear sort of vaguely through the divider. It's not soundproof or anything like that. It does sort of deaden sound a little bit. It's not soundproof by any stretch though, and you can hear her tinkering for a while. It's probably about 10 minutes that go by before you finally like you hear sort of like the clinking of tools stop. You hear just a very like you hear a soft grunt that sort of seems to you almost not quite, but you just barely think you might hear it sort of trail off in a bit of a whimper before then there's just like no sound at all from inside.
I want to kind of put her to sleep with a really kind of nice comforting dream, like a very kind of beautiful sunset, and she's walking into a bowling alley with Zaya, and that's
Okay.
where that's what I want her to fall asleep
Sure.
to, and whatever else peaceful I can kind of pull out of her surface thoughts that isn't just rage.
Fair. It is hard for you to get a hold of anything that is like concrete, but the closer you get to pushing her to sleep, the easier it becomes for you to like reach for like stuff. Because as Bina has encountered before with Wire's emotions, Peach is now encountering the same thing with her thoughts and her, just feelings, or dreams, I should say. That she keeps some very tight and strong mental defenses up all the time. And the closer you push her to sleep, the easier it is, but it is still a bit of a struggle for a while. And as that is happening, Bina is just sort of watching the display, and you just
Very
hear
close attention.
you hear Zaya say, "Damn, it's been a long time since I've seen her like that."
Well, hopefully nap will do her good.
You feel a sudden wave of confusion from Zaya as she just looks at you. Says,
I look back at her.
as she's looking at you with this like baffled expression on her face. She says, "What?
What? There's something on my face?
No, what did you just..."
Do you need a nap too?
She looks at you and says, "Bina, I didn't say anything."
Yeah, you did.
"No, I didn't." She looks at Taeyeon. She says, "Did you hear me say anything?"
No. Did you say anything? Did you say anything?
"No, I didn't."
Maybe I need a nap. Sorry. Maybe I need a nap.
The weird thing is that Peach, as you're overhearing this, because you're right around there because you were... you also heard Zaya.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, you also heard Zaya. But the weird thing is, for you, it's very... So, Bina, at this moment, you're noticing kind of like the ripple of confusion from Peach as well, because Peach, you were looking at Zaya when you heard her, and her mouth didn't move.
I'm just gonna kind of look at Zaya, and then look back at Bina, and just kind of lean against the divider, and just, I'm just gonna not say aloud, but turn to Bina and just kind of say, like mentally, very like loudly, very obviously, can you hear me? Testing.
Can I?
So, sorry, you're saying this...
I'm literally just like thinking it very loudly.
Oh, thinking it, okay.
Immediately, because I was just like kind of in like Wire's head, and then like kind of witnessed that, and then heard that, I was like, okay, immediately, like, wait a second, can we just do this? So I just tried it immediately without thinking.
You hear her.
I just say testing.
What do you need? What?
To Taeyeon, this looks bizarre. Bina is responding to nothing.
Glance.
Bina's responding to nothing. Like,
she's fully responding out loud.
Yeah.
She's not.
Are you okay? Is something... Who are you talking to?
Bina,
Look at Peach. I'm
talking aloud now. I'm talking aloud now.
Yeah.
Bina, I think we have just found a very annoying and very useful tool.
Zaya's looking at him. She says, "Oh, you're kidding me. You were kidding me."
I don't understand what's going on.
I don't either.
Bina, you are going to love this. Oh my gosh. Wire is going to hate this.
Great.
What's going on?
They can hear thoughts now. They can hear thoughts now. That's excellent. And she just walks away. She just walks away, shaking her head.
Oh.
I didn't mean to, she says after her.
Huh. So I wonder if why it must be an extension of your natural empathetic abilities, and maybe an extension of my ability to get into people's heads when their defenses are down in their sleep, but in their waking hours. So
I guess so.
It's the same effect, but for totally different reasons. Wow, okay. Abriel is gonna have a field day.
I mean, we could already both do the make eye contact and chill out thing. Maybe it's...
I could do that before. I'm just gonna kind of go.
Oh, damn.
I'm just like literally running around the room now, like pacing, like thinking of all the ways that this could be useful, and also maybe accidentally doing it to people in the room.
I fucking so like out of
accidentally. I think it's on purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Out
of character, I'm like obsessed with this ability. I think it's wild. It's a very expensive ability, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, do I have to mark down?
Not for the one I made you do.
Okay.
But I will say at one point, just Peach, as you're like walking around the room, at some point, like you hear Jade going, "Wow, they can read thoughts now. That's so cool. Wait, can they hear my thoughts? Did they just hear that?"
I like wink at him as I keep walking.
He's like, okay, was that because she heard that, or because and you just
oh, this is gonna be so fun.
Bean is doing the thing, so she's trying to focus very hard on like I'm waiting for this to beep. I'm looking at these things and pretending like I comprehend everything on the screen. It's not happening, but she does the thing. I think like with empathic stuff, like you can't really turn it off. It's just kind of always there, but maybe she can kind of dampen it. So she's trying to do the same thing with her brain. So she's got like, she's holding her antennas down and is like just looking really hard at the equivalent of this. Yeah. But like holding her antennas down and just staring really hard at the screen because she's like, I have a job. This is a lot of things that we dealt with today, and I'll process this at a later date. Like,
oh my god, this is going to be so useful back when all of this is over. This is going to be so okay. Just like literally Peach is like freaking out right now. She's like thinking of every single possibility, like writing things down. Like,
I love this. The la 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 la.
That's what I was thinking.
And the holy shit.
So
the dichotomy of our speakers, everybody.
At one point, because this process begins. Apparently, Becker sent in a lot of data. So the program that Wire has is like basically working overtime to try to like check some of this stuff. So basically, you are all in there, and it just sort of. I picture like one of those fade montages where it's just like the same shot of the room, but like people fade and fade into different positions in the room, like that kind of thing.
At some point, Bean is like sitting with like her back on the seat and like her feet up over the back of the chair, like watching.
Yeah, and Jade goes from playing cards with Mason to just sort of like staring idly up the ceiling and like. Anyway, at one point during all this, while you're all just sort of waiting, Taeyeon, you're sort of sitting, and even in spite of the fact that that everybody feels pretty welcoming, you find yourself sort of kind of on the sitting on the outside, like watching, like even though you don't intentionally set yourself apart, you find yourself automatically taking the role of the observer, like watching all of these people that you've only ever heard about. And you're just kind of like watching everybody, and for the most part they seem unaware of your scrutiny, but at one point you glance over and you see that Alma is looking directly at you, and she stands up as soon as you make eye contact. She stands up and comes over and sits down. She says, "Hi, do you mind if I ask you a question?"
Sure. Everyone's been asking me questions. I can't really say no. It'd be kind of rude. I'm kind of like the guest in your house and time.
Right.
So
Well, that's true. That's gonna take some getting used to, I think. But um, I mean, you. She kind of glances around the room, and she says, "I mean, you know about all of them in your time. I mean, what about? I'm almost afraid to ask, really, but what about me? I mean, do it. What are? I woke up the same as they did, but where they'd lost a couple of months, I lost everything. I didn't. I don't remember anything before waking up. Is there? I don't know anything that history says about mine.
um, yeah, I don't know if I should mention it. I thought I'd run it. Probably should run it by you first. Um, your yes, I do know about you, and I can't. Mm, sorry, I'm just going over what I can actually tell you because you know
I mean,
time.
anything that you can tell me is going to be more than I have right now, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit or a lot. Anything.
Um, you said you woke up in
Well,
this child
so
kind of
to
thing.
speak. I mean,
Yeah,
they all woke up from cryogenic stasis, and I woke up from whatever state of shutdown the ship was in. I mean,
yeah, you're connected to the ship. We I say we. It's like the royal we. I did. I'm not. I mentioned earlier. I'm not great with computers and all that stuff. But um, his name was Vargo. He was a computer guy, and we did find some documents on you. Um, not much. They kind of destroyed everything once they figured out that we had access.
that
But
tracks.
yeah. Um, but what I remember there's probably more, but I have a really short attention span. But from what I remember, you're pretty important. Um, I guess we're kind of similar. You and I. So I got my powers by accident. So did you. You were actually the first Cypher.
What?
Um, yeah, I don't know how exactly it happened because they kind of shredded everything the moment they saw that we had access. But you accidentally got powers, and the corpse found that very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, okay, okay, um, yeah, I could, I can see why that would be. I mean, why somebody like me, why that would be of interest to them, and why.
Breathe.
Okay, she just sort of like grabs onto the table and the chair that she's sitting in, and just sort of. Okay, Bina, from across the room, you can feel this from across the room.
She'll fucking turn
Mhm.
and try to make eye contact or anything with
Yeah,
her.
Alma,
Kind of like
like,
a "Are you
yeah,
okay?"
she looks
thing.
across the
Like,
room, meets your eyes, just um, says, "That's wow, that's actually a lot more than I was really expecting." But um,
Yeah. Sorry.
no, don't apologize. That's, I mean, it's a lot to take in, but I mean, it does explain some things. I think it raises a lot more questions, but that's kind of the nature of everything that we learn, it seems.
Yeah. You're really important. This obviously goes without saying, but don't get into the corpse's hands. They kind of need you to. They were studying you to perfect, and I kind of like gesture to the rest of the crew, kind of perfect all of that.
Wow. Okay. I'm not really sure what I expected, but I mean, that one wasn't on the list. uh, yeah.
I didn't know you lost your memories before, though. I'm really sorry. I'd say if I'd known, but I kind of had no way of knowing. But if I had,
It's
I
okay.
definitely would have got my people to look into that as well.
It's okay. It's you've given me more than I had.
It's, this might be okay. I'm gonna break a rule. I don't. Okay, I might. I kind of just turn around. It's like, hey everyone.
Yeah, everybody just sort of turns and looks. Jade, who was like very like close to dozing off, just what? Yeah.
Bina, who has been like trying really hard not to pay attention because it's not her conversation to have, is like, yes, I'm paying attention now. Like, thank God, thank you for letting me pay attention.
I was gonna quickly turn over to Omen. Like, do you want me to tell them about it, or do you...
It's going to affect them. They'll need to know.
Okay. So basically, Alma is the first super, and the courts really want her because she's most likely the key to perfecting the artificially created supers.
Oh.
That I'm not really used to getting full confirmation, confirmed statements like that, are we? Huh?
That checks out. That checks out.
Also,
oh, but there's more.
There's an and.
Yes, and because like now that I said it out loud, it might be related. I hope not. I really hope not. Remember when I said you guys were legends?
Yes.
We don't know where you guys are. We don't know where you guys will. In my present day, you all disappeared.
Not gonna lie, with our current lifestyle, I was surprised that we made it 25 years in the future, but I guess
It was actually
I
kind of like 23, I guess. You've been gone for like a year or two.
So it's recent for you.
For me, yes. We're pretty sure you haven't died. This is a really big rule I'm breaking, by the way. While I'm talking, I'm just keep checking my watch. For some reason, like it looks like just making sure nothing's going wrong. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna say this. We're pretty sure you're not dead, but you have just kind of disappeared.
In what way did we disappear?
In like some of you guys essentially were in charge of the resistance, the figureheads of it. And so you'd go on missions fairly frequently, but then suddenly you just stopped and we couldn't contact you, find you, or anything like that.
Well, that sounds like a problem for 23 years in the future, Bino, but I don't know how to help with that situation.
Is there any
listening
way
for beeps right now?
Is there any way that we could be affected in the future by you showing up here in our present?
Oh, probably. Yes. Don't know how much. And I kind of like point at my watch, like this just kind of tells me if there's huge, like ginormous changes, but I can't really say how big of a change this considers me telling you this is. It could be small, it could be big, it could be ginormous.
At this point, Jade speaks up and says, "Okay, that reminds me. There's something that has been bothering me this whole time. Okay, so if okay, I'm gonna try to if and keep in mind, I'm not really into like I don't do the sciencey things. I just
Yeah, me neither.
so you're from originally a future where things sort of kind of work out a little bit better than
Yes.
but then your future changed or your present changed because of something that changed back here. So you came back here to fix it. Is it possible that I mean, what if I'm trying to think of how to say what I'm trying to say. Uh what if you already did that? Is that possible or am I just making things up now? Like, what if the reason that things were good in your original future is because you already did this? There was one of the episodes of Nurse What that I was watching. Yeah,
yes.
exactly. That one in that that's kind of where I was getting the idea.
We looking for a stable time loop? Is that what we're the end goal here?
Is that what that's called? I don't.
I guess so.
Is that what this is right here?
Actually, I think so, yeah.
Huh.
And I guess that makes sense. You don't want just one like a bunch of versions of time travelers running around. I feel like you'd collapse something.
Oh, yeah.
So like you have to meet back up at some point.
Yeah. I'm just saying yes because I don't know the answer.
That's fair. Me either.
I'm not gonna lie, I was lost pretty early on in that conversation of time travel. But we have 23 years to prepare for our disappearance. Who knows? Maybe we're on a very long extended vacation.
It was definitely well deserved if you are.
And we can only focus on our current mission.
That's what I said.
Pete, you're absolutely correct.
Alma nods. She says, "Mainly, I just wanted you to know about. I mean, I didn't know that before, but I mainly wanted you to know
felt like
about.
something I had to say to everyone at the same time.
Yeah. I mainly just wanted you to know about me because I think that has the potential to affect everything.
Alma will never let them come anywhere near you. I hope you know.
I know, and I'm not worried about that. I'm worried that there may come a day when there is no choice.
There's always a choice.
Maybe, but sometimes things are outside of your control.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna thank you, Taeyeon, for telling me.
No problem. I guess it's the best I can do to help.
She stands up and just goes and like she sits on like the farthest corner of the couch and just draws her knees up to her chest and just sort of sits there for a while, just sort of staring off kind of towards the ground.
Is she still feeling high anxiety like earlier?
Now it's
no?
now
Okay.
her emotions are kind of in turmoil at the moment. She's feeling a whole bunch of different things, but mostly she's it's anxiety, but it's not the same. It's not like panic from before. Now it's just sort of this general background kind of. Yeah.
Okay. I think Bina's gonna go sit with her for a 2nd
Mhm.
and just kind of like won't try to like fully engage or anything. Just will just be like, "Do you want a hand or do you need to ride it out?"
Um, can the answer to that question be yes?
Both of them.
I don't know.
I'll give you a boost, and then you got the rest.
I mean, in spite of everything, I mean, I know something.
Something we didn't know yesterday.
Yeah.
Bean will kind of like hold out her hand in front of her.
She looks you directly in the eyes for a moment, and then just like doesn't break eye contact, but just grabs your hand.
I'll give her a little bit of calm. I'm not gonna end her turmoil, but I'll
Mhm.
give her some, just like so she's not so like
It's like an
racing
emotional
thoughts.
booster pack.
Yeah. We'll give her just like a second of like oh okay,
Mhm.
calm and breathe so that she can go through
Yeah.
deal with her thoughts in a more rational way, hopefully, so that she doesn't spiral later.
Yeah.
And she'll give her a boost and kind of like squeeze her hand for a second, and then we'll get up and go back to her post that in front of Wire's computer.
I'm gonna let that moment happen, and then after that happens, and after Olivia, not Peach, cheers. I'm gonna walk over and just kind of look at Alma and just say, the offer stands whenever. Still stands.
I think it's probably now more important than ever that we do it, and I can't afford to let my fears about it get in the way anymore. It's bigger than me now. But just not yet. We're focused on a lot of things, and I can't be distracted right now with memories that
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be in them.
Yeah, and it's when you're ready.
Yeah. Thank you. She like looks around. I just remembered something about the disappearances that I wanted to ask Mason. And she stands up and
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
While all these conversations are happening, Taeyeon, you're just sort of sitting there, and Jade just sort of like sits at the table and says, "So, wow, that's some stuff. That's a lot of stuff that."
I didn't want to mention it when I was at gunpoint. Saying that people you just appeared in the base of will disappear soon.
Yeah, I could see how
So
that
kind of
could
had to
raise some alarms.
Yeah. And the whole time, like his tail's been like going back and forth like a metronome. he's just nervous.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you about my future, but I think maybe he kind of looks around the room at this suddenly drastically altered mood of the room and says, I think I'll maybe leave that one up to, I think I'll leave it a surprise. How about that?
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah.
From now on.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not now on, but like, no relevant spoilers. Unless you want to talk about Nurse What, because it gets really good.
No.
No?
I don't want,
Okay.
I mean, okay. Does she ever go back to the classic time capsule? Is that ever?
No. It changes like every regeneration. It changes, but it's actually really
Okay.
You get used to it. You warm to it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
God.
And
I like to think that Jade is like updating like not TV tropes, but like the equivalent of like the wiki, the, like Nurse What wiki.
Yeah, the was it the fandom wiki or whatever the
Yeah, it's like citation needed.
Yeah.
Or like those Reddit posts where like someone's like, I met a man who told me XYZ about media in the future, and it's like it comes true, and so people are like, what? So he's gonna attempt to become one of those.
Like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love the idea that like I told Jade a storyline of Nurse What. He posts it online, and then the creator of Nurse was like, "Wow, that's a really good storyline," and then creates that storyline in Nurse What.
Stable time loops.
Hell yeah.
Stable time loops.
Oh gosh. So just on.
My head hurts.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of that over the course of the next few. Sessions.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, guys. But the moment I saw time travel, I was like, "That is my power." I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have
So
to do it.
excited.
Mason, is you're kind of sitting back, kind of down in the in the corner. Zaya, who has basically by this point long since kind of passed out, head on the table. You notice as Alma starts walking up to you, and she sits down, says, "I need to ask you a favor."
Yeah. Okay.
She says, "And you can't tell anybody else."
Yeah, that's one of my specialities.
With everything that we know now about me and why
Spaceships.
This is so much traffic today.
Air traffic.
Sulon must be congested. The sky lanes.
My town is full of terrible people.
Says there's a real possibility that at some point there's going to be a choice between something important that we're doing and keeping me out of Silverbreak's hands. I'm hoping that won't be the case, but it's very likely. I mean, they've already come pretty close. I need you to promise me that if that ever happens, you won't choose me. The others aren't going to like it, but especially Bina, but if it comes down to it,
I don't think it will.
the things that all of you do, the things that Taeon's told us that we do, it's so important. And it sounds like it doesn't stop being important even 25 years from now. And if, whenever it is, next week or 23 whatever years from now, if that's why you all disappear, if I'm the reason because you had to make a choice, I don't want you to make that choice. I don't want you to choose me. I don't like it, but our lives now are not about us anymore. They're just not. There's so much more at stake. So many more people.
Yeah. Why are you coming to me with this?
Because I feel like you're the best equipped out of all of them to make the hard choices. I don't think anybody else will make that choice. Bina wouldn't let me go, and Peach is so determined. And Olam, I don't want to put him in that position.
Yeah. No, you can trust me to make the hard choice.
Thank you.
But let me show you something. This is what this picture is. I pull up the picture of the time sandwich pie. This is time.
Yeah.
As we've been told.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this. I understand these kinds of things, and I bring up a thing with names, case files.
Mm-hmm.
Ted, missing 912 at 1400. But this right here, this is confusing. And so nothing is, as I understand it, is written in stone. So let me propose to you this, and I take like whatever the equivalent of a marker is, so I can make another line.
Yeah.
This is us. And I just forge a line right through it all. We're forging our own path now.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope I'm right too.
Alma stands up and then just sort of says, thank you. And then just leans forward and just gives you a kiss on the top of the forehead, and then just moves back over to the couch.
Just looking at case files.
All right. So, in our last few moments of tonight's episode, about maybe 3 hours pass, with all of you just sort of in holding pattern. The tension in the room mounting with every minute that passes without any new information. With frequently with points of where Jade will just sort of stand up and like very suddenly and start pacing the room, before stopping, looking around, getting like a frustrated look on his face, and then sitting back down, and then just looking around and just repeating that cycle, before finally you hear Bina, as you're sitting there, no longer concentrating on the thing because the window of your attention span has long since closed.
Oh yes, but she's staying within proximity, so it still seems like she's paying attention.
You hear that beep 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 beep, and as you look up, you can see big words flashing across the screen that says "Analysis complete."
Okay. Oh god. Okay. She stands up, does like a circle around the chair, sits down again, stands up again, says, "All right, no, we're good." And she kind of like shakes out all four arms. And I want to go to her door. And so, if you're woken up too harshly, your sleep feels like it was for naught. I would like to like rouse her with my brain in a way that is like consistent and an even slope to consciousness. If I can do that using emotions, if I can't, I'm going to implore Peach to help me do this because I want her to sleep to have been as restful as it possibly could have been.
like an artificial REM cycle. Like
yeah, exactly.
I could maybe like slow her dream, like make her dream like not like make it so she's not interrupted in the middle of like an intense dream or something. But I don't think I like that's all I could really help.
I mean,
with,
I've emotionally woken myself up before, but like, if I can rouse her in a gentle slope, that is my intention.
I'll say that's relatively easy to do.
She's standing. She's like put her head up against the door, and is just like, okay, like,
and with like probably less than 10 seconds, and you suddenly feel the panel that you're leaning up against give as it like folds back around the corner, and you and while you're standing there, she's, "Is it done?"
Yeah.
You can see she still has the bags under her eyes, and her currently, as you look down, you can see that her cybernetic arm is still not attached. She didn't reattach it. As she looks past you, she says, "Okay, give me a minute." She steps off to the side, and you can see as she sits down, pulls out the toolbox again, and starts like going through the.
She's basically. Did you get it? Is your arm good?
She looks up,
Do
says,
you need
"It's
anything I can do?
it's fine. It's fine for now.
Okay, but like, is there anything I can do?
It's not a mechanical problem."
Okay.
She just continues. Says, "Just, it was a bit of a rush job, and some of the scar tissue, the healing that took place afterwards. Anyway, the point is, it flares up from time to time." She stands up and says, "Okay," and she like flexes her cybernetic fingers and says, "Okay, let's see what we've got."
And she'll turn around and walk back with her to the console.
She sits down at the console and starts sorting through the data. And as you all kind of gather around, you're expecting to see like more like layers of data and incomprehensible stuff that only Wire seems to be able to understand. But instead, what comes up is something very recognizable to all of you, which is a map of the galaxy, or rather, a map of the known quadrant. And specifically, you can see a red dot on the map that is just outside of the border worlds, but not quite inside either Ascendancy or Commonwealth space.
Southern part of the quadrant?
Yeah, southern part of the quadrant. You see a dot, and as it zooms in, that dot sort of manifests itself into a ship. As the view zooms in, you can see what is essentially in a remote system, uninhabited system, in the middle of a huge asteroid belt. You can see this single massive ship that is of the same or similar make to the one that you originally woke on. And additionally, you also see that one of the asteroids that it is currently nearby appears to have structures on its surface. Wire sits back and she points and says, "Huh. Well, would you look at that? We found our prison ship." And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Oh my god. That episode.
That episode
Holy-
indeed.
Woo! Thanks for the
Wow.
lore drops.
Oh my- yeah, there were some good ones.
Yeah.
I got like notes upon notes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Wow.
excited.
Oh, man.
I wrote all my notes in my equipment box.
I take notes on how everyone else takes notes.
I usually only take a page of notes, but I've got 2 today.
Man.
I'll just wait for Lucas's recap.
Yeah, they are infallible recollections of the previous episode.
It's okay. I take weird notes so that I can fill in your gaps. We make it work. Teamwork, it's fine.
Yeah.
So good.
All right.
So
Well,
good.
that is going to be all for us tonight. Drac, welcome. And
Thanks for coming.
it's good.
It was
It'll
a
be
lot
good to
of
have you
fun.
around
I
for the
can't
next
wait.
couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I try to keep the time metaphors to a minimum.
We love
Yeah,
it.
you
It's
have,
so good.
you have all the time in the world.
And
Aw.
major accomplishments from tonight is Nurse What is canon. And oh, good.
There's a big controversy in that actually fandom right now because they are introducing the first male nurse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
it's a lot of
Let me
it's
tell
causing
you,
a lot of
I
controversy.
love the Nurse What fandom, but sometimes it just.
Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of like on their equivalent of Twitter, just hashtag not my nurse.
No.
Good night,
I hate
everybody.
how
No,
real
we
that
we
is.
here, we here at Real World pride ourselves on having commentary on our the real world here, and I think this is probably the most dramatic of them all.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God. Sorry, I'm like crying.
Like Jade, I promise you, like he's a great actor, but it's just the writers. The writers just not doing him justice.
Okay, this should be a next Ramblemancy. We'll just talk about Doctor What in
Yeah.
the many
Oh
adventures.
God.
We have a Ramblemancy episode where we just make up lore.
We just
like,
make up
make
Yeah,
up
it's
pop
just us in
culture.
character.
Let's
For-
Us in
yeah.
character.
Next,
That'd be awesome.
let's see.
Can we just improv like a Doctor What
What is it?
episode, please? Next
That'd be
at some
amazing.
point.
Oh my God, hold on. I need to check something really fast. This is not relevant. I know we're supposed to be ending the episode, but I need to check.
We have. It's
Okay,
fine.
so while April Fool's doesn't fall on a Friday, it does fall on a Thursday. So we could absolutely just have that episode.
Perfect.
We could have a one shot special, like that's just
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of yeah,
Yeah,
just for
exactly.
have a game that day.
Just have, or even just have an episode of Ramblemancy where we just discuss this completely made up show. Uh,
Of course.
oh God. Okay. Anyway,
I love that.
so
Before we end, Drek, do you want to say where they
Yeah.
can find you again? Just because
Ooh,
you're
yeah, so I am all over the place, but if you just want a centralized place where you can find me, on Twitter at Draconics, that's DRAKONIQUES. And also you can find me every Monday at 6 p.m. playing a D&D homebrew campaign called The Mind and the Martyr, or over on Friends Who Roll Dice
yeah.
on Twitch, where I play a kind of shitty Yuan-Ti pirate warlock.
Yes, that is the best combination of things. I love it. All right. And as for us, well, you know most of the deal, but you can you can do
Yes.
that. You can do that, but you
Yes.
can. But it's probably better if you subscribe instead of what I just said. Because I frankly wouldn't even know how you would go about that. You can subscribe right here on Twitch.
to the best of your ability, I guess.
This is normally how we feel at the beginning of some episodes, and here we are at the end.
We're just high on the adrenaline of learning so many new things.
Yeah. Geek outs, you're not wrong. I do, in fact, need sleep at some point. Anyway, you can subscribe to us right here on Twitch. I almost lost it again. And if you do, you gain not just these fancy Twitch sub badges that were I haven't mentioned this in too long, but that were very well made by at Meaning of Night, Olivia Adams. She is very good at what she does. But not only that, but you will also gain benefits on our Discord that are Patreon benefits on our Discord. You'll gain access to like the two lower tier Patreon
Still not
things.
allowed to.
Yeah.
I tried, Lucas.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
I still
I'm
haven't.
still not allowed.
I still haven't set the commands to be. Anyway, but yeah, so you can get access to those things there. Thank you, Geekouts.
Thank
you. As well as you could also join the Patreon, which has all the things that I just mentioned, the lower tier rewards that you can get through the Patreon, but it also has the higher tier world building tier where you once a month you will hang out with John and I and do sort of a quick little Patreon writers room where we make up stuff for this very show, which sadly none of the things other than a mention of Duraga, none of the things that we have made have come up yet. We were so close a couple of times, but then the story went elsewhere. But
There's a very pretty table that is just waiting to be cracked open.
yeah. Oh man, that table. Ooh, we did some great stuff with that table in our last one.
Stop!
It's very good. It's very good.
I want to know.
God, I'm so curious now.
And of course, you can, if you want to watch or rewatch episodes of Infinite Horizon, you can do so on our YouTube and via podcast on Anchor, but also on, it's kind of the seed site, but you can find it on basically any podcast platform. And if you can't, you can use the RSS feed because we've got that too. I feel like we had, last but not least, we also have a merch store, which I will say, Lemon Twist finally remembered to buy the Infinite Horizon tees, which just because we're here and we're talking about it.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Crap.
I was going to put it on screen, but that's even better.
Two though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could, but that's okay. Infinite Horizon tees featuring art by our very own Caitlin Bruder. So, yes, first of all,
The star herself.
thank you, Lemon Twist. We appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're finally going to be getting your Infinite Horizon merch. So yeah, that's pretty much our stuff. We will be back here on Friday for Ramblemancy. We will be talking about we're going to be talking about basically narrative in tabletop games and how it influences and interacts with mechanics. So we're going to be talking about things like world building, dungeon crawls, storytelling, various aspects of tabletop RPGs and how they all work together. And then Saturday, we are going to be having our long anticipated continuation of our Borderlands 2 stream with Bree. So that'll be lots of fun, and hopefully this time I can keep John and Bree from being run over by trains. So, but I won't, because that would deprive us all of some great clips. All right, we're gonna go. Yes, Geekouts. We will almost certainly be talking about the Cypher system. So we'll be doing that.
Talking about Cypher,
So-
more likely than you might think.
Cypher, I don't know her. So
It's funny every time. It's still funny.
I don't know
It's
why.
Is that number like 6?
It's
Is that,
evergreen.
should that be
I
a
think
counter?
it's funny every time.
Yeah. All right. So before our level of punchiness punches a hole directly through the space-time continuum, we're gonna go. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in, for who was here. Drac, it's awesome to have you, and I'm very much looking forward
I'm
to
so
continuing
excited.
with you for a little while.
So excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We've been working on this character for weeks now, and I'm so excited to finally have Taeyeon in. So we'll see you on Friday, but if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night, everybody. Good night and good zone.